So let's start a new game. So we are a physician. What's a good name for a physician? We are Dr. Smith. Give it kind of a ye olde British spelling since we're in London. So all we have to start with here is our work. We have our reason. It's going to kind of be our primary stat here, I think. Today is the day I return to my post at the Institute. I have a position and a reputation. That should mean something, but I am beginning to dream of something else. You know what? You make a good point, physician. Your name... Wait, Reid? Or is it Reid? I don't know how to spell it. It's gotta be E-I-D, right? Yeah. We're gonna play as Dr. Jonathan Reid. That seems fitting. So let's go to work. Today I return to work. Oh snap, check this out. Baker Logs was a difficult patient. I had to take some time away after that business ended. So Baker Logs is the person who got sick. I forgot they connected like this. Baker Logs got sick and died, and now we can play as the physician, much like Baker Logs had the old man from the hospital that he was visiting that gave him notes and kind of set him on his path to this occult awakening. The character we just played and died with is now the person doing it for our doctor. It's a fun little tie-in. That's very clever. All right, cool. So now we have work and study. I've finished early. The director has been sympathetic, but I must return to work full time now. So we got some funding. We still got our job. Good thing we didn't lose that. There's our health, our starting health. Let's move these guys up a bit. And then, holy snap, they start me with a ton of reason. That's crazy. All right, we'll go back, right back to work. There's a dank and clinging smell in the Institute halls that never quite leaves one. Perhaps it is the paint. Perhaps it is the patients. Perhaps it is something in the walls. Ooh, it's a pretty spooky hospital. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't know that I want to be treated there. All right, let's see. So there's our passage of time. That's gonna start eating up all our monies. Notes on the case of Baker Logs. My own eyewitness accounts of the ghastly decline of Baker Logs. My handwriting deteriorates as the account progresses. Oh god, that's so cool. The patient spoke of things that could have no meaning. The house without walls, the divided sun, the invisible light. But when I recall how they spoke of the invisible light, my heart surges. I can ignore the notes no longer. All right, so if we study these, that should give us our first piece of occult scrap. As I begin to read, I recall the delight in the patient's eyes, the music in their voice, but also the smell of the room where they lay. God, that is so unbelievably descriptive. That's so cool. So hopefully the goal here is amass a ton of funds early. You know, I spent in the last run, we kind of kept the work slot engaged with some other activities that weren't necessarily generating money. We need to get a bankroll running so that when we switch our focus to recruiting and founding the cult and all this other stuff, that we will then have the resources with which to do so, even if we aren't consistently going to work. Odd moments of sense emerge. I had almost forgotten that curious discussion on the way of Moorland, but now I realize it was the way to Moorland. I've heard of this Moorland, a dealer in troublesome books. The rest of their raving, it means no more than it did before. How can a house lack walls? What is the glory they yearned for? But I can already sense the dreams waiting for me in sleep. So we've got our directions to Moorlands. All right, kind of a steady beginning. The directions to Moorland's shop are cryptic. When one deals in the kind of books my correspondent studied, one must be circumspect. I like that that's a different description than you get when you're the aspirant. It's very interesting, like, lots of dialogue saying the same things but doing it differently based on the situation. There's shades of like super giant games in that. That's like the big thing that put them on the map with Bastion and the reactive narrator. And that has certainly been holding true with some of their newer games like Hades. Especially with Hades. The dialogue in Hades is bonkers. Alright, so our dream should yield a contentment. So that's fine. Belief. I could give into the dreams, but they will devour my reason. Temptation. What does it want? It wants a reason? It's gonna eat this reason though, yeah? Consumes its contents. I mean, we have so much reason. This seems really dumb because we just established how hard it is to get some of these stat cards. But like, come on. That's so ominous. I can't not have that. All right, so we're gonna study our occult scrap with reason. We are a creature of reason. Ooh, can I not? Oh, we don't study it. Wait, no? Exploring is what we do with one of these. Right. Okay, so that's to get a new location. Okay, sorry. I was thinking that was like a like one of the aspects. It's not. It is different. What can we study? We can study with a reason. I wonder if our boost to reason, like the counter for improvement, I wonder if that is relative to how much you do. Michelle's going ape on Genshin Impact. All right, got our funding, right back to work. Even though we started with a ton of reason, I wonder if we can get away with like having our first upgrade to reason just be the 2 like it was. I wielded the knife in sleep. There's pain, but even the pain is a signpost. I have bound the wound. I tell them it was an accident. In the dream, I saw the door. Someday soon, I will pass it. All right, so that's how we get our first passion. Okay, so that makes sense. Enlightenment, a locksmith's secrets, and a watchman's secret. Cool. So that got us 2. Let's see. Put these guys right here, I guess. That got us 2 of the arcane knowledges. There's our secret temptation. I can sleep. Should I dedicate myself to my purpose or focus my efforts elsewhere? And then we're supposed to reflect. So, what is the locksmith's secret? The knock permits no seal and no isolation. It thrusts us gleefully out of the safety of ignorance. Did I turn on card snapping in the options? Did they add card snapping? Grid snap size 1/4 card. Wait, so there's that. That still pushes him around though. So what is it when it's 1/4 card? I don't understand. I don't know if there's like a modifier I gotta hold for that. Interesting. I mean, just the fact that they hit a grid at all is super helpful. Let's do, we just did the Watchman. So let's do the key for our founding principle. We'll have Dr. Reid pursue a different occult. So he found Strathcoin's residence, the house of Mr. Strathcoin, a collector of rare objects. Strathcoin will not sell his treasures, but a sufficiently cunning accomplice might gain entry. Cool. So his sounds more like a kind of a standard B&E situation. You don't want to go up there? Oof. Oh, I see. So that just sets the actual size of the grid, which is why I now can't get that into the same spot as Moorland Shop, because Moorland Shop is when I had the grid at a different size. Interesting. All right, so we're starting to work on our cults. Let me move these guys into the new grid. We have our primary verbs. So what do I want to explore? Explore with health. Should go to Moorlands probably and buy a book, but that can wait at least a moment. We're still working on this with our investigation anyway. The wrong kind of reputation might awaken the interest of a curious person. Yeah, there's no clues to be found. I'm clean, son. All right, our health is fatigued. Oh boy. Hang on. I gotta go back to the quarter card. Gonna lose my mind. So I get it's just like the vertical grid is what's set by the card size. It's kind of weird. I'll be honest, if they gave me an option to turn on the grid lines, I would almost certainly do that. Like, I feel like that would help me keep things a lot clearer. Oriflamme's Auction House. Oriflamme specializes in curios, perfumes, taxidermy specimens, and rare texts. It operates from cramped new premise now since the destruction of the old by an unexplained fire. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so that gives us another place we can go and buy stuff. And we're going to move this over because that's not just like a go visit it for fun place. Sitting on some money, but not a ton. Our health is still fatigued. We need a couple of these activities to kind of finish out. So let's see here. A light in the skull. Whenever the principle of the lantern sheds its light, I may recall additional scraps of knowledge. We like that. We will essentially take that all the time. And we're going to immediately follow up and study another reason, because with 2 reason, I can test my theory about upgrading, even though we started with a decent amount of stuff. Like, it's so interesting. We weren't even super far along with our other character. And like the difference in how chill this board feels right now versus where we had kind of gotten to with Baker Logs, it's like a night and day situation. It's so crazy. Health is almost back up. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff that's going to finish all at once. We did get an air addition, but it wasn't from the activity I had planned, so that's fine. I'll take that. I have done some good. My patients are quieter than when I began. Get our funding back. Go immediately back to work. Jonathan Reid, all you do is work and occult. That's the trembling in the air. We don't have to worry about that one. My wound has healed, and so has theirs. They don't understand why they did it, but they dreamt of me that night. We are connected. Oh, interesting. So that our like suicide attempt is how we find our first follower. Saliba is a man of prodigious appetites. He has long passed the point where their satisfaction gives him any pleasure, but he has learnt so very much. You might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. Neato. All right. I have decided to remain as I am for now. Oh, did I not? There was like another event that I didn't do? Oh, bummer. Well, no. Listen, we want to do that. I think I missed one there. We're sitting on some funding. Let's go. We don't want to sell. We want to buy. We perch on alarming Reitfeld chairs in a windowless auction room with a vividly burnt orange walls, waiting for the auctioneer to announce what he's offering. The reek of new paint makes the brain spin. What do we got? Saving. I like how this saving is just like handwritten, just like all the other stuff. Like it pops up, and even though it's not in the card format, it feels very similar. A crowd of pinched faces, glinting eyes. Who will bid? The item at auction is visible on the right. It will be gone forever if the auction is lost. Samuel Savage's satirical comedy on the intrigues of the ailing but cunning John's son, his mistress Mavelyn, her lover Leo, the upstart Corvino. I mean, yeah, look, we'll bid, right? Jonathan Reid's a high roller, y'all. I have raised my hand. The auctioneer raps out an acknowledgement. Will anyone match me? Oh, snap, so it really is like an auction. I don't know that I remember that. We've got our health back, so we could go exploring with health when we're done at the auction house. Is there anything? We can't really talk to you about anything, right? Here's someone I might work with, a companion, a follower, but first I must give them something to follow. A society, a solidarity, an order, a cult. I just did the same freaking thing we did last time. I'm going to talk to that guy, and then we're going to eat crud. Oh, yeah, sweet. So even though we started with all that reason, we only need the 2 erudition. Oh wait, is that just gonna give us a lesson learned? This is gonna generate notoriety, I think. Yeah, it's literally the same thing I just did last game. All right, now we can found our principles. Add lore to determine your cult's founding principles. So I need the lore that's in here. So can I cancel that event? We can. All right, cool. So we lost a contentment. Someone has matched my bid. I must match it with more funds or forego my prize. Yeah, there you go. Whatever. No one's gonna outbid me for these sweet satirical texts. I have a feeling they're actually going to outbid us. We do just get a new bump of cash in though, so we'll take it. Go right back to work. What do we find up here? Fleeting reminiscence. What are you? Dread. All right, well, we don't have any of that at present. All right, so that we didn't finish out, but that's fine because that wasn't what I thought it was anyway. That was for the cult. The hour we will serve requires pain. I must give of myself. Oh shit, this is totally different. Remember last time it asked us the Society of the Holy Wound. Woo! All right, so it's a totally different kind of way to interact with your cult too. An occult society dedicated to the hours which open doors. You can use cults with the task blah 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 blah. So the name of their biggest Arkeys is the name of their like high priests. We only have the 1 health. I really can't afford to dick around with that. We bought our book. We did it. Told you. No one outbids Daddy Reid. So we want to explore with our fleeting reminiscence and hope it doesn't give us dread. Oh, whoa, what is this? I can drag that? That's like the spot where new cards go. That's so wildly helpful that I can move this. That's awesome. Skill, scholarship, and reason. Okay, no. So that did let me get my first bonus scholarship just with, or my first bonus to reason just with 2 erudition. So like, when you play as the physician, you get a wildly large amount of reason essentially for free. But we have like no passion, right? So we're like the opposite of kind of how we played last game. Last game, passion was like our big thing. A cult with only 1 member is an unusual habit. So, all right, here's our other member. Here's our boy, your boy Saliba. We got more funding coming in from the job. What am I studying right now? Nothing? Why don't we study our cool new book? By the end of the first act, Mavelyn has revealed a secret door in the walls of the house to Leo, and Corvino has taken to consuming worms. What the? This is so bizarre. So we found a fascination, unfortunately. Light leaks through the cracks. My mind is brighter than it has ever was. The higher I rise, the more I see. The illustration for this is so freaking spooky, and it has no right to be that spooky given the illustration being so simple. Just stares into your soul. All right, pick up our caches. Right back to work. What are you doing over here? You give me another fleeting reminiscence. Yeah, we'll explore with that. Well, that's not great. We got the trembling in the air as soon as it had a chance to spawn. We can get rid of this with a dread. If it, oh, it's gonna turn into visions for that to happen. All right, cool. So we have our guy. We have an injury. We have our locksmith's secret. And then we have our headquarters and the cult itself. That's cool. So our injury, we're gonna have to heal, right? I need rest and nourishment if I am to recover, but the mother of ants looks kindly on wounds. Dreaming with an injury before the card fades will allow you to recover health. So what do we do? We don't have a vitality, so I guess we're gonna have to spend money on it, which is kind of a bummer, but we can't afford to lose our 1 health. That would be disastrous. So yeah, if I talk to an associate, so that's not enough for that. If we talk to him about the cult, he may be able to lure a victim back to us. What are we doing with a victim, y'all? Oh, there's another fascination. That's not a good look. Dr. Reid burning a bit too bright. Getting a little Icarus-y. Let's see here. Ooh, another Watchman's secret. So guess what? I think this is how... Yeah, so if you combine 2 of these, there's a proverb among the practitioners of the invisible arts. Glory visits the house without walls. I would like to know about glory. I think this converts 2 of the lower level ones into a more powerful one. So even though we're not running a Cult of the Lantern this time around, having a more powerful occult item can still be deemed useful. What? Sickness. I've become unwell. Oh, shit. All right, well, we're about to get our health back, so that's fine. I mean, it's not fine. I'd rather it wasn't an issue. But at least we're not, like, running out of money on this one. So I can, if we need to just pump money into getting better, we can. So, yeah, we get our health back, but our health immediately goes into our illness. This is now a level 2 fascination. I think it's just chewing through my fascinations as fast as it can. And then Homeboy is looking to see if he can find us a victim. Into the night. Wisdom is a country, and these are its maps. Solve all the challenges on both fragments of Lord to complete a research task. You can return to a task later if you fail. Oh, weird. Okay, so this is kind of like an expedition. Remember, we did the expedition last game where it was a constantly running kind of like chain of events, and we had to overcome each one. It looks like that's what's going on with our 2 lore scraps. We need to figure out what's going on with these fascinations. That's getting a little dicey. We're gonna have to heal this health as soon as it's out of the illness generator too. This is a puzzle with missing pieces. I might find those pieces in odd corners of scholarship. Provide erudition or use the library. Well, but I can't provide erudition. I don't have an erudition. And we don't know where a library is. That's rude, guys. You really gonna hit me with a curveball on the first thing? It's not the kindest, if I'm honest. All right, so we got our cult back. We have a notoriety. We have a hapless prisoner. I don't like, I did it because that was the option, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do with a prisoner. Oh, snap, he found funding too. All right. Look, sorry, prisoner, but daddy needs money. Oh God, of course, as soon as we take a prisoner is when someone starts showing up. So we have an affliction. Again, we don't have vitality, so we're gonna have to pay money for it. Talk to the prisoner afterlife. That's not a bad idea. Hang on, let's see here. Collect my money, go back to work. You and I'll talk when I get back from work. I don't believe we have anything to say to each other. Well, I mean, if I'm honest, ma'am, that's just rude. Wait, I can just talk. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Not while we have a prisoner in the basement, if I'm honest. Can we... No, I was hoping maybe we could, like, convert the prisoner. I found someone whom I might pay to enact regrettable necessities. No, we're not. I'm not worried about that, dog. We're not falling down there again. Where do you get vitalities? You get vitalities from some activities offer a vitality. I believe if you dream about health or if you study health, you earn a vitality. That should really be my next goal. Once our health is out of the dream cooker here and turned back into normal rather than being an affliction, I should go generate a couple of those so we're not sitting on 1 health. We should really do it with passion as well, so that if we have a task that requires passion, we have one that we can pass into it. The toughest thing about this game, oh, interesting. Increase my understanding of lantern lore. So what does this do for me? Oh, that's just, that was the card in the bottom here because we were in the process of studying it and it disintegrated because we didn't successfully complete the research is what happened. We're gonna let study just sit tight for 10 seconds while I get my health back here so that we can start improving our vitality. So yeah, with our health in study. So this is dangerous though, right? Because if we had something that popped up and required health, we wouldn't have it. Like it's stuck, it's in a different purpose. So that's why having a base minimum of 1 to like handle an emergency kind of becomes a big deal. See, like, look at this. The money is not great. We're still losing basically half of our money is going to the passage of time every chance it gets. I'm safe for now. All right, cool. But it's still definitely better than it was. So I want to talk to our believer about the cult. No, that's how we got the victim back in the first place. I was hoping maybe I could have them do something about the prisoner. What if I talk to you about funds? Does that do anything? No. I want to talk to them about the hideout and be like, can you please clean up your dirty dishes? It is so terrible to have to share a cult hideout with you sometimes. So while we're checking that vitality, we're sitting on a decent amount of funds. Let's go to Moreland's. I don't think the stuff you get from Moreland's is as exotic as the auction house, but it's also reliably cheap, right? Like it's just, we spend the 1 gold and we're good. So since we've kind of determined that we're generating a net gain in gold right now, let's use that to our advantage and go buy a bunch of stuff from Moreland's. because the more stuff we have that we can use to just generate knowledge, get a baseline. I think one of the things that I was poor in my decision making in our first run tonight was like, we didn't have the resources to go crazy, and I immediately went crazy. A collection of essays. If the mind is a blade, this is a whetstone. Study it to gain an erudition lesson learned. So does this have a timer? No. All right, cool. So like this, we can just sit on this. And that's like an erudition in the bank. So it's not helpful for something that suddenly would need an erudition. But like when you're looking at getting higher levels of reason and suddenly you need 5 and 6 and 7 erudition, having a reliable one bank that you can just kind of like break out so that you have it at the ready, I think is very advantageous. Since they're always combustible, having one that's somewhat stuck in stasis is a big deal. We will immediately follow with another health study. We need that second vitality because we desperately need a second point of health. Collect our funding. Go back to work. I guess I'm kind of questioning what I did last game, that we had work always so busy with something that wasn't work. I guess it was busy with work most of the time because it was busy with like painting. The problem was that painting wasn't steady. We didn't necessarily get paid every time with painting. We only got paid if it was a good painting. Whereas we just automatically, we just automatically get our 2 funds for every trip to do our rounds at the hospital. All right, so we're gonna get something new from Moreland's. What do we get from Moreland? The Locksmith's Dream, A Light Through the Keyhole, the first volume of Teresa Galmer's examination of parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. That sounds radical. So we are going to study that in a minute or two here, but I want to get our health situation locked down first. What else can we be exploring right now? We can send Homeboy to explore. What does he find when he explores? He found like a follower, right? Searching for opportunities. You know what? I don't really trust the followers as much as I perhaps should. No, I want to dream about vitality, right? Or study it. Is it study? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's working on our health. We almost done with another set of rounds. Let's go to Moreland's again. I was just talking about how we're pulling in money at a fast enough rate that I'm not as worried about it, but we are burning through it. So, I mean, I guess that's one of the things about this game that makes it entertaining, right? Is like it's doling the story out in these little kind of tasty morsels, all these like little bits and pieces that are attached to some of the dialogues. But like to get those bits and pieces, you have to run a tightrope. Like it's a lot of balancing and managing. It's time management, it's resource management, it's planning several moves ahead. There's actually kind of secretly a lot going on under the scenes. Under the scenes, behind the scenes. Traveling at Night, Volume 1. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Illapy, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. That sounds fun. All right, so that's another book we can read. Let's, we got another job halfway done. Let's go and do another splash of cash at the auction house here and see what we got going on. So everyone's getting ready for the auction. It is The War of the Rhodes, 1450 to 1580, censored edition. Willis Ford describes the War of the Rhodes, an event in a history other than our own. in detail, but numerous packages have been removed. The name of the publisher is blacked out, and an ominous slip stapled across the cover explains that Willis Ford has been excised. That's bonkers. So probably not any reason to bid more than one fund, because they do kind of let us come back in over the top if someone outbids us. So no need to waste any money there. What's going on with our prisoner? Just chilling? Just hanging out? Sorry that I captured you and then had no use for you. We were just practicing for when we get to be like a really good cult. Like eventually we're going to be a really good cult. I think I'm going to do a painting with this restlessness just to get it off the board instead of immediately going back to work. So we can paint, and then we'll throw in our restlessness. And then let's be honest, the work at the doctor's office can literally go right below the work button. All right, cool. So we got our health, and now we do have the skill stronger physique, which at least gives us 1 health that we kind of have to spare. Let's first read about the locksmith's dream, because that's our, like, the founding tenets of our cult. The parallels in mystic dreams experienced by carpenters, masons, and other artisans, and what they purport to reveal about the architecture of the world. Sometimes mordant, sometimes funny. No one has ever explained why Galmier devoted herself to this chaotic exploration of artisan's dream. Interesting. That's always like a fun trope in some of these like weird occult driven storylines, right? When they're like finding out that everyone has kind of like a shared experience syndrome and stuff like that. I always think that's really fun. Oh, cool. So if I just collect, it'll just put them back to where I had them before. So we did get that book for just the 1 fund as well. So that's kind of exciting. Let's go back to Moreland's with just the 1 fund, just because again, I don't want to leave that square doing nothing. What is dreaming of health to? That's for a contentment, which we don't really care about. Dreaming with reason. I don't remember what sleeping with reason does. I'm sure we did it last game. Let's do one just to find out. What are you collecting up here? Dread. And you're collecting fascination. I would love for you guys to be off the board, please. They do run out before most of my other stuff, though, so that's fine. Get another book from Moreland's, and then I guess we just research through all these books as fast as we can here. Yeah, what did we get here? The Burning of the Unburnt God, compiled by Hosti Tasman from oral traditions in rural Persia. So freaking cool. Maybe we'll make our, yeah, here. We'll just make our prisoner read all the books to us. That'll work. Let's send Homeboy out to do an explore. I think he's just going to find me someone that I could potentially hire, but we're just going to ignore it if that's what he finds. I wonder if maybe he can find me other locations and stuff too. I have found somewhere unusual. Yep. So this is where I think he finds his expeditions. What was down there that just burnt up? I honestly don't know. Yeah, so he found us the cabaret, which we didn't go to. Explore the city with health or followers. Explore locations. What does it want? Oh, snap. Okay, so we need to pay a cover to get into the club, but if we're friends with the owner, we can just walk in. That's fun. The entrance is lost beneath soft drapes of crimson, cinnabar, and incarnate. Above the door, the club motto, Ingrirum imis nocte consumi nergin. It has been rendered into night's circle we fly until the fire enjoys us. So that like nonsense syllable we found before was actually the slogan for the club. The drinks, the songs, the light, the arcing walls, the smoke blue haze, the press and sway of clothed and unclothed flesh. I really dig the writing style that they employ in this. And as I said earlier, the writer for this is a very, very large part of Fallen London and the games that Fallen London spun off into. So if you've enjoyed any of the dialogue in this, I would strongly encourage you to go take a look at some of those, because they are equally as outrageous. So we read that book and just got an erudition back from it. How long do we have on that erudition before it goes? 3 minutes. So let's read a different book. And then I might actually... Well, I don't want to cash in my collection of essays. That seems premature. Nightly pleasures at the cabaret. I have purchased pleasure. I reel home in the ungodly hours and collapse into bed. Oh, interesting. So that's just another way for me to spend money to get contentment, it looks like. I wonder... Oh, because it did say that if we do it by buying opium, there's a chance we get sick. So I guess maybe that's just like a lower risk way to do it. I am just sitting here like a dummy and not doing anything for work. So let's go ahead and go to work. This restlessness is just going to have to chill until our passion is recharged, because I think we'll get rid of it with paint. Or Salt's Nightmare. I don't like that. See, again, like, we took just a few moments where we weren't generating income from a constantly running work cycle, and we're already out of money. I remember that Hair Salt wrote of this. I've levered up floorboards and wriggled down snugly. Now I am compressed beneath them like a hidden corpse. The air stinks of hot dust. My mouth is full of splinters. This time, I haven't learnt what I hoped to learn. Whatever that was. Neato. So we can dream away our dread with our contentment here, because that's going to run out anyway. I don't really want to do an explore with money, so let's just go do an explore ourselves using health. This should turn something up somewhere. Let's see. I found someone whom I might pay to enact regrettable necessities. No, I'm not hiring freelancers. All they're gonna do is come home with new prisoners, and we only... Cult leader, can we have a prisoner? No, we have cult prisoner back at cult base. Prisoner at cult base is hapless. Alright, so we did get another erudition there. And then what else did we get? A barber's warning. A power of the wood enjoys the separation of the lock from the scalp. For attention, burn it. For opportunity, bury it. Speak this over a corpse in a rite with a winter influence present, and the corpse will rise. What? So is that like, can I just study that? If I have 2 lore fragments of the same level and aspect, I can study them together to improve my understanding. Yeah, so like this has a benefit, but it's also just the level 2 version of the winter aspects. Of the moth aspect. I knew a man who captured moths in a bell jar. On nights like this, he would release them one by one to die in the candle. Oh, jeez Louise. Alright, so we want to study our 2 eruditions. Get those in there. So we lost our 1 contentment. We're going to lose our restlessness. Hopefully that doesn't turn into dread. I don't know if that's automatic. That appears to be automatic. All right, so that sucks. Let's go right back to work. I wish there was just a repeat button on that so that I could just be like, hey, instead of collecting all this, maybe just collect the coins and immediately start a new shift. I think that would be ideal. All right, so we do have our little fleeting reminiscence from having nuked our dread with a contentment. I didn't realize there was so much lore in this game. Again, I played this so early on. I'm wondering if some of that was like added on as they went. There was always story, but I feel like there's just an absurd amount of stuff going on. And not necessarily like what you would think it would be either. Like there's little bits and pieces and just like morsels, very much like the storytelling. We talked about this a little bit when we played Tacoma, where it was like they kind of dole out the little pieces as you go and you learn about the whole story over time. But this is more like Dark Souls style, where it's like tiny little fragments that are vague enough that you have to really kind of be paying attention to put those pieces together. All right, so there is our lesson learnt for erudition. So we have one of those banked now. What else could we be studying? Oh, we have another book. We have a couple more books, actually. Tasman hypothesizes a pre-Zoroastrian fire deity whose rites were the rites of smiths. So this might generate for us one of the fire aspects like we had in the last game. I like that the soundtrack in this is so mellow, but still kind of like keeps you on edge. The Vienna's Conundra. Nico Van Driel describes odd events in Vienna. Is it Viennese? Is that how you say someone from Vienna? Is it Viennese? The disappearance of children, epidemics of parasite activity, animal mutilations, nightmares of worms, the activities of a charitable organization, the New Legions, the funds that funds the burial of the poor. She proposes peculiar connections between these activities. Ooh, she found a cult too. Sounds like a cult of the moth. All right, cool. So our fascination and dread and stuff went away. I feel like exploring using these fleeting reminiscences is kind of it's a coin flip, right? Because like we've done it and sometimes just gotten dread for our trouble. The other times we've done it, we just get like, I think contentment we found a couple times using it. And if you don't need contentment, that just seems like a poor resource choice, he says as he feeds it into the exploration to do it anyway. There's our contentment. So I don't know much. We could do some dreaming about reason just to try and keep cranking out. No, you know what? We need to dream about passion. Yeah, dream. Locksmiths often have the dream after the sole of the foot is wounded, especially if it has been snake bitten. I could try that. Apparently the cult we founded is just straight up about self-mutilation. So we got that going for us. Yeah, so we got a restlessness for our trouble this time. I might just leave the ones that flee up in the card rack instead of constantly dragging them down. Bless you. Bless you. We'll go ahead and study another fleeting reminiscence. Tasman ultimately concludes with apparent reluctance that the deity was a goddess. He suggests that its gender may have been the cause of its suppression. The rites described are often eerie, sometimes grisly. Oh snap, check this out. Rite of the Crucible Soul. This rite uses an instrument of power to set the blood of fire. Fire is the lesion in the skin of the world. the assistant rarely survives unharmed. And we did, in fact, find our fire aspect. So, gotta do some reorganizing. We got too many things. Oh, we have 3 of those Watchman secrets. That's bonkers. Okay. So we know a fire right. This is for our locksmiths. And then study another book, dog. In this past, a score or more of longs were made. They brokered peace with the Forge of Days, long enough to set England on a path of early conquest and eventual destruction. The Forge itself devoured the greatest among them. That's kind of cool. I like that. I'm watching Man in the High Castle right now, which is also about finding documented proof about wars and battles that didn't occur in reality. So it's like about people in a World War II where Germany and Japan conquered the rest of the world. But they find like newsreels that show off a world where the Allies won, like the actual outcome of World War II that we would expect given our experiences. I thought that was really neat. All right, so we got, let's see. We just got a contentment from that book, so nothing super doing on the, oh no, that was from the Fleeting Reminiscence. That wasn't from the book. Our prisoner looks like she is about to time out. She's only got about a minute left. So let's see. Okay, so this gets us back our locksmith's secret. The Serpent's Way. I limp along the road, and so it is that I see the serpent in the ditch. I follow it across the waste places and into the root maze. Is it hair that brushes my face or hanging moss? I bend low to stay close to the earth like my guide. I will not forget the way to this place. So it sounds like we just uncovered a way into the Mansus. There's a buzzing in the brain, which is a moth thing. Our passion is exhausted for now. Oh, so this was the way into the wood via the locksmith. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. It's like each of the various gods can yield some kind of a pathway in which to, oh damn it, I wasn't fast enough to pull this dread. No, give it back. I have a contentment that I could use on it, you jerk. Each of these kind of glimpses beyond still includes some of the same information. The royalty of England, according to Willis Ford, became the sovereigns of the leashed flame, destroying or transforming their enemies, conquering Europe, establishing grand cathedrals to Saint Spark. The alliance with the Forge begins to take its toll. The last few chapters are missing entirely. Gives us a furtive truth, a detail smuggled in from an adjacent narrative. Don't speak this where you may be overheard. Exploring with this scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations in the Shires. Yo, I'm down. I want to go to the Shire. Odd nooks remain in the quiet countryside here and there for those who know where to look. So this was like a second level version of the secret. Was it Secret Mysteries? Secret Memories? I don't remember what it was called. We have another restlessness that turned to dread. There's got to be another way to get rid of those restlessness that isn't painting, but I don't know what it is. Collect our gold, right back to work. Sitting on a decent amount of funds right now. You wanna? Oh, we're already exploring. We can't really do anything. We can study this other book though. When the individual K attends the meetings, black dogs are sacrificed and quartered. When the individual M is in attendance, the black mares are found with their throats slashed. I propose that these activities are not necessary, but that our Legion friends may consider them fitting. Herewith, diagrams of the mutilations. You know, some of the mythos, and I guess maybe this makes sense, right? Because it seems like each of these aspects is tied to a different kind of occult tradition. But some of them are just like kind of chill mind expansion, right? It's like they're almost just like thought experiments. And then some of them have been pretty brutal. And I'm going to be honest, I don't prefer the brutal ones. So our poor prisoner, who's been with us almost as long as the two founding members of the cult, is in fact now a corpse. So bummer for her. That one's looking for fascination. We do have a restlessness, so when our rounds at the hospital are done, I'll probably nuke that by doing a painting since our passion's available. This place merits a closer investigation. Gladwin Lake. Beneath the stark slopes of the fells, the mist-wreathed surface of the lake waits. There's a twin altar here before the Romans came. There was a twin altar here before the Romans came, and a legend of a serpent who was sent to defile that altar. That's so cool, just like this little mythos that they've created. That he's created? I don't know how many people actually worked on the writing for this. We can explore with health. Sure. It's just going to ask me if I want to hire somebody, and I'm going to say no. Job's almost done. Dream is just neutralizing a dread, so I think when we do that, we get a fleeting memory, if I'm remembering correctly. Ooh, did I break it? Oh no. Just everything finished while I was alt-tab. I was banning a spammer in chat. What do we find? Streets strange by moonlight. Sometimes the light of the moon is key to other spaces. I found a place where, for a night or two, the streets curve in unfamiliar ways. If I walk here, I might find insight, or I might be touched by madness. Interesting. And we found a glimmering. Medusa's riddle, then, I choose to render as what is not seen. There's another riddle, one I have been heard rendered as what may be lost. I will delineate some historic attempts to answer it. These are in themselves, in some sense, sacrifices. The Ecodidist's riddle is what may be lost. Interesting. All right, so we found a glimmer, which is sweet. Because we do want to get our passion up. I did say I was going to paint so that we could get rid of that restlessness, so let's do that before I lose it. Which is a bummer, because I can't generate the other glimmering I need until we have our thing back. We do have... So is this a level 2... This is a level 6. Holy crap. So that's like a 3rd level version of the moth aspect. Yeah, so this is a level 2. Okay. We do have our erudition lesson learnt is gonna nuke. How many of them do we need? Is it 2 we need right now? Yeah, so look, even though I don't love this, we're gonna have to cash that one in so we don't lose the other one. Which is kind of a bummer, if I'm honest. Like, those ones that are... Okay, so our corpse is turned into notoriety, so at least the corpse isn't a thing anymore. Now, this said we might get, like, madness from this. Streets are strange in the hour called Mensicate. Alright. I'm down. We can go tiptoe on some strange streets. We do have another fleeting reminiscence as well. Our exotic craving. You know what? I would like you two to be next to one another. just so that the two masks are together. Speaking of which, one mask is done. I don't know if it'll remember where it was in between times featured on the board, though. What did that pull in? Oh, our fascination. All right, we're gonna see. We got another restlessness. So yeah, like there's gotta be another way to get rid of restlessness that I just don't know because I haven't experimented enough. Visions pass me with a pavane grace, a window over a wood, a garden of ice, a shivering sun, a woman of glass. I will return home with reluctance. So we still have a street strange by moonlight, but now we also have a subtle fracture. Clouds part, walls creak, old wounds ache. A sixth order influence, significant resonances or correspondences. So that is for lock, but we don't have a thing that would work with it. And then I guess we can just keep using the street strange by moonlight. I guess that's what it meant by like, for a few brief nights, these streets are more than they seem. Until that card runs out, I guess we can just go ham and keep investigating it. Which like that's cool. I'm not gonna get upset about that. All right, we burnt one fascination. Oh, that pulled in a contentment to get rid of it. Okay. So we burnt a recklessness painting, but now our passion is on cooldown. So we'll just do a work at the hospital, and our passion is not going to cool down before the other one has turned to dread, unfortunately. So that one's just going to have to lose. We do now have enough to cash these in, though, for another reason. I wish there was a way that I could do, like... And maybe there is. I mean, I guess that's probably not fair for me to say I wish there was. It's obvious that I've uncovered very little about the game. Oh, look at that. And our other glimmering. I'll take it. Thank you. I wonder if there's rituals that let you shift your stats around, right? So like obviously in the physician game, we have become unwell. We got a sickness there. In the physician game mode, we start with all that reason. I wonder if there's a ritual where we can like trade some reason in and get some passion. We kind of did in the very beginning of this. We started with the one that ate a point of reason, and that is how we developed a passion. But I'm wondering if that isn't just in place so that you can get your first reason as the physician. I'm wondering if there's like an advanced way that does more of it. All right, we did get a contentment, so let's immediately dream away this dread and be done with that. And then I guess keep walking down these strange moonlit roads. It is kind of a bummer that that is chewing up our exploration task, and then obviously like yielding a situation where we can't do any of the other ones that pop up. Our passion is recovered, so let's collect you. Immediately go back to work, and then we need to study these two glimmerings, yeah, and that gets us a passion. So there's another reason. And then if we study these two glimmerings, I believe we get our second passion, and we get the passion like training tool, so that we could eventually, oh look at this, my fleeting is gonna have just enough time. Oh wait, how much time do you have left? 96 seconds. No, we're gonna let that one toast out and just keep wandering the moonlit streets. All right, we do have an affliction, which is a bummer. We can study our vitality, or study our health rather, to get a vitality to fix it with, though. It's not like the last time where we just like straight up did not have the option to fix it. I think what we're gonna do, so we got another passion cooking up. And we're gonna have, ooh, we get a fascination out of it that time. So it can have negative effects. Fleeting reminiscence. So let's, what is it? I have to study health or dream about health? Yeah, no, dreaming about health is for contentment. We need to study health. So what can I dream about in the meantime? Nothing. We're done dreaming. I think what we're going to do is get this passion stacked up to 2, recover our health, and then we're going to try and travel to the wood again to get another look at the mensis. And then at that point, we'll probably have to call it. Can I use fascination to paint as well, I wonder? No. Just a restless. That's a bummer. So yeah, fascination's another one. I know we can get rid of fascination with dread, I guess. There are more windows in my soul, so this is what gets us our second passion. And the passion training tool. And then we need to do a study on health. And we still have the odd streets and moonlight. Odd streets and moonlight, rather. Clouds part, walls creak, old wounds ache. We have seen this previous, but it is nothing that is of use to us, unfortunately. Get a free contentment. I like that. So we've got work is going to eat our passion. Spit that out in need of rejuvenation. Health is going to give us a vitality, which we can then use to recover our affliction. And then whatever the hell comes out of this now. A glimmering. Sure, why not? Just keep on rolling on that guy. We're almost going to miss out on the chance for this affliction. It's going to be tighter than I would really like, if I'm being very honest. We have another glimmering, too. I mean, look. I think we just turned that into a lesson learned right away here. That may gain us a vitality. Alright, so what we want to do is dream about our affliction with a vitality. Vitality might be worth grinding out the stuff I need. It would be what? 2 lessons learned, so that's 4 total vitalities. Oh, so when these ones are more powerful, they don't disappear straight away. They just become less potent until they disappear for good. That's good to know. That's interesting. There's another glimmering. The game is like, yo, dude, come on. Use these glimmerings. Well, you know, who am I to say no? We gotta wait for our health to recover anyway. We'll get some glimmerings while we're at it. Might as well take a trip to the office. So that's just a free vitality, so I'm down with that. This fascination's on its way to disappearing. I don't know enough about what I'm supposed to do with these. Like, I get that they have uses for like advancing things with the cult. We've done nothing with the cult. Poor Salaba must be like, yo, Jonathan Reid is the shittiest cult leader. He's just off at his, like, the other clubs he frequents. Long-stemmed cigarette, just talking shit. So we got our health back. So we at least have a buffer of 1 card for each stat group. The notoriety from our previously kidnapped Londoner, now officially dissipated. The cult is clean. Investigate at your leisure. literally as I said it, we got the wrong kind of attention, so that's kind of an interesting set of sequence. There's another subtle fracture. I'm just gonna keep like pounding the streets. How much time does this thing have left? 80. Oh, because it doesn't go down when you're using it. Interesting. Oh, that sucks. Really? It'll only do those squares and then everything after that just disappears. That sucks. All right, so we'll study a passion real quick. I know I had kind of like laid out the next several movements, but I lied. Because I want to make sure that I don't forget about this glimmering down here. We'll get to 3 passion. Yeah, of course there was nothing to be found. I just told you. We have never kidnapped a random Londoner through a series of miscommunications between cult leader and cult attendee. Cult follower? Cult believer? What's your rank, bud? Believer? What is it? Salaba understands blood. He does not understand birth. What? So crazy. There's several like paths through this game, and I find it so interesting that I'm struggling so hard to even kind of like find the first way in. We're sitting on money. Let's go to Morelands because we're about to be done with some of the stat juggling we did, so it'd be nice to have a book waiting in the wings so we can keep doing some study stuff. I don't understand the need for these cards rather than just let me throw the lessons learned together. That seems kind of bizarre. I don't fully get that choice. So we're finishing up this play for some additional passion. So now we have 2 glimmerings. They got to go in here together. That'll give us another lesson learned. What did this give me? The 6 letters on necessity. Warnings and confessions about the cost of the invisible arts, addressed to a student by the 17th century magus and reputed immortal Julian Costley. We had that last game as well. Well, you stay put, work. Right back to the old office. As soon as we've gotten this glimmering converted into a permanent passion, we're gonna try and sleep our way to the Mansis. We'll try and go through the wood again. It sounds like from some of the literature that we've read and some of the experiences kind of hinted at by the occultism, that each of those points we found when we were on the map for the Mansis is a way of kind of like breaching that reality, like climbing into the truth behind the truth, as it were. We're almost done with this guy, so I guess we might as well get one more on him. I totally forgot about him. He's just sitting there idle. Could have been jamming out more stuff. There's like 3 or 4 more aspects too. Like, we've only got half of what we want. Let's see here. Take you so that you can get the hell out. We will take our lesson learned, and then you study this with 2 lessons learned, and that will generate our passion. Make my money, honey. There's like an interesting rhythm, and you know what? Part of that rhythm is probably a little bit to blame for the fact that I haven't made leaps and bounds of progress. Like this time I was so focused on, right from the jump, I was like, yo, we need to make sure the funds are attended to. Starving to death sucked. But because I've got this rhythm and this rotation, especially with how easy it is to keep attending the job at the hospital as a physician, I'm just basically spinning wheels, which is a little frustrating. Maybe this trip to the Mansis, though, could yield something fun and interesting. And I'm sure, like, I haven't really played. They say you can go out and talk publicly about this stuff. We could do that, right? Like, we could afford to get away with that because we don't have a whole shitload going on back at HQ that they could come in and put the hammer down on us for. So, like, that is definitely something as a resource that I am not expending. I'd be interested to watch someone play this that has really spent a lot of time with it and knows it really well. I get that that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, the vision for the game was that you wouldn't know and that you would have to experiment. You know, we talked about it at the top of the stream. Like, kind of the vision was to treat the game the way that it would be required for a normal person to get involved with the occult. Like, you have to feel it out yourself. There is no class for it. There is no, you can't go to Coursera and take the intro to the Mansis. All right, let's dream our way into the wood here. If you have enough passion, if I have enough passion, I can walk the dream road to the wood. If I have the right knowledge, I might be able to find the way beyond it. So they want here, they want passion. Well, you know what? I'll get you passion. How about that? You want passion? You come to physician Dr. Jonathan Reid. He's the passionate one. All right, that got us a fascination. So we're basically, this is probably gonna be our last trip down the moonlit roads of London. I will be interested to see if it's just as easy this second time through to figure out how to get through the maze into the wood, though. Because I feel like it was pretty simple when we did it the first time. All right. Yeah, we're going to let those strange streets by moonlight go away. Goodbye, friends. Thank you for your time, but we've had enough. All right. So we're in Mansis. Yeah, so look, the wood, the white door we've heard referenced in another text, the stag door, the Mallory. This, I mean, obviously it looks like it's tied to the flame aspect. The spider door, the peacock door, the worm museum. What? Tricuspid gate? This is so bizarre. All right, so we can take our peculiar rumor and run. We can go to the well, or we can go to the temple. I don't remember what the two cards were last time. I remember what we got at the well was not that big a deal. Let's go to the Temple of the Wheel, yeah? Should have definitely gone to the well. We get a trembling airs. The toes tap, all is brisk and all is well. A second order influence, apparent to the perceptive, instantly recognizable to an adept. So this is just like the second level version. Oh, and then I have to play it on the way out. Okay, so with that done, we get our trembling airs, which is for a heart aspect. So for it's for an aspect we haven't really been using. And then the question is, can we just dream our way right back in? Like, as long as I have a passion available, can we just keep going? I mean, obviously there's a cooldown timer, so it's not like immediate. Oh, we can study this too. It is truly remarkable how little, like, after money was such a struggle last time, that I've just, you know, go to work, go to work, go to work. I mean, I guess it's not shocking that if you hold down a steady job, you have less money problems. That kind of sounds silly when I put it that way. But it's just such a dramatic difference from how our run last time felt. But like, that's the opportunity cost, right? Because like, that resource has not been a problem for us, but we aren't developing the other resources as fast. We've done almost nothing with the occult stuff. So this is what I mean. Like, there's such a juggle factor that goes into making sure that everything is running smoothly and you're still proceeding towards your goals. All right, what'd we get? We bought it for 1. It's in Latin. It's the one we couldn't read from last game. I got a vitality chilling over here doing nothing. You should maybe think about studying health. Let's go back to the auction house, I guess. Just take another crack at it. Yes, I know there's nothing wrong and that we can't worry about it because you're never going to catch me, copper. All right, so this time we can get an occult scrap, which is just the simple level 2. These secret histories are the things that let us find new locations, or we can go to the well or the temple. I mean, finding a new location seems pretty cool, except for we really haven't puzzled out the best way to make those. Well, but I guess, right, like the big thing holding us back on the expedition we did last time was not having money. Let's do this. Well, we only have the one follower too, though. Let's do this. I'm gonna go back to the well. Oh, snap. Just a vitality? Okay. I mean, it's not as exciting as some of the other stuff could have been, but it's actually pretty useful for us. Wait, did we get it? Oh, it's in here. I haven't claimed the rewards yet. That explains that. Collect our money. So I think what we're gonna do, go to work, obviously. Oh, we got an erudition and a smith's secret from that. Yeah, so that's the level 2 version of that. The smith stuff's starting to look pretty good down there. Let's study these 2 vitalities, turn them into a lesson learned. Why not? And I think we're gonna send our dude out to find a follower. Oh no, snap. I wasn't paying enough attention, and whatever was up for bid, we didn't buy it. Damn it. All right. Several times when we've sent him out, he's been like, yo, I found someone that we can pay to help us kill people. Of course we get sick right as I'm looking to maybe do an expedition. That makes perfect sense. I know he found somewhere. So he found streets made strange by moonlight again. We don't want that. This time we actually want you to find a rando. That would be ideal. Let's see. All right, so yeah, you want me to... Yeah. Okay. So we are going to hire a random. We are going to immediately go back to work so that we can keep building up these funds. And then as soon as he's got this random hired, we're going to go to the house. It's a vault. It's a location. It's in the capital. Whereas this one is a vault. It's a location and it's in the Shires. We'll take our vitality. And then let me study health. We're just going to try and crank out 2 more of these real quick so that we can get a health back. Well, actually, the first one here might wind up going towards recovering this one. Yeah. So we need a vitality to fix this affliction. Because I'd rather not spend the funding if we're about to immediately turn around. You know, and why don't... I should just continue dreaming, too. Because if we have passion available... Absolutely, we should be going to the door every chance we get. It's just a free card. All right, once we've hired Homeboy and run this expedition, I think we're going to call it for the night because it's getting pretty late. Let's see what we got. A bomb maker. Sure. Come with me, nerd. We're going to a place. All right, you take the lead. Bomb maker comes along with, and then I'm funding this expedition, y'all. Mr. Strathcone has forbidden entry to his library. Unfortunate. Let's see what we can do. Expeditions need at least 1 fund per obstacle. Followers will defeat obstacles, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So they are off. They are up against obstacle 1 here. In the meantime, get our money. Just... keep working at the hospital, and our cronies will keep knocking over rich old guys' libraries. Them's the rules. I didn't make them. I'm not the one that decided how creepy London cults gain their eldritch artifacts. That's just rules. All right, so what we got? We got our health back. We got a vitality. So as much as I would love to continue doing this grind for vitalities, the first one's gotta go towards curing the health that we have that's stuck. We have to wait until Dream is available for that, but that's fine. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. There you go. Cult Daddy Big Banks. He's got the bankroll. Gonna send y'all out to do his bidding. I don't really think we're gonna use that fleeting reminiscence. All right, so we're back in Mantis. Every time it does that, it scares the piss out of me. I don't care about the buzzing in the brain because I don't know how to use them. I don't know what to do with them. You know, I hate to sound rote, but we're going back to the well. Oh, this one was just all of those. That's unfortunate. So that's gotta be the next thing, right? That's gotta be the next thing I do, is figuring out what the hell all that stuff does. Can be used in some rites to summon minions. But I mean, I don't have... I have what? I have this one rite. Uses an instrument of power to set the blood afire. What do I mean, I guess I study that, right? Maybe we should try that. Meanwhile, we can dream away our affliction with our vitality here. Not under investigation because we rule. Countdown is almost set on our expedition going to the next stage. More money. Perhaps we can sway the Watchers for another purpose. Mortals, perhaps even ordinary mortals, but quite a number of them. They can be fought, seduced, or deceived. Here's your money. Why don't you watch this checkbook, friends? How does he come up with so much money? Well, just grinding that 9 to 5, dog. When you want to spend all night chasing down the esoteric secrets of what lies behind the wood, you gotta go in and do that work. All right, so we get another vitality here. Immediately turn around and study. So one more vitality and we're in a position to up that. And then they are more cunning and more numerous than we expected. This will end in blood for us. The Watchers victory? What are you talking? I gave you all kinds of money. You guys couldn't handle a couple Watchers? So that sucks. Like, even with all that funding, I mean, granted, look, right? Like, did we send a crack team? No, of course not. We sent our one idiot and his like drunk buddy who's like, yeah, sure, I make bombs. But it's still a bummer. Let's go back to Mantis to cheer us up. I can just imagine Reid like getting called away from something important at the hospital. His contacts are like, yo, shit went wrong. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. So our expedition is now just the bomb maker who's like a hired gun. Our buddy is hurt, so we have to do what? We talk to you is what we do, right? Yeah, and then I have to pay... Man, all y'all motherfuckers. It's all I'm good for around here. It's footing the bill. Well, when we discover the ritual that like gives you a bottomless bag of peanut M&Ms, I call dibs. If I'm the one funding all this nonsense, I call dibs. All right, so we have our second vitality. Turn this into a vitality lesson learned. You, of course, want more money. If we lose this fight, I'm sure money alone will not continue the expedition chain, like if we lose both of our agents. So that would kind of suck. What do we got? Going to the Mantis. It's going to jump. Okay. That time I was ready for it. It didn't spook me. A peculiar rumor. Let's take this one, because it sounds like the expedition's going to go sideways, and that perhaps will jolt us some fresh resources. It might run. If the expedition doesn't go sideways, I might have just gotten that and then ultimately just watched it run out anyway. We are going to have to paint to get rid of our passion. Yeah. So it looks like this expedition's kaputski, unfortunately. Free vitality, I'll take that. So he's fine. He came back. Just scarred. Damaged, but not permanent. We are just going to get in under the wire for this vitality lesson learned. All right, so break from the hospital. We're frustrated after the expedition we funded went sideways. You know, we thought this was it. All this searching, the money we've amassed, the fortunes we've expended to learn these secrets. Nay, our agent's incapable. Wait, it's still gonna let me just dump money into it? I must send help or this expedition will be over. Back into the trenches, friend. If they're just gonna let me chain these together, I'm fine with that. I'll just keep healing them. It's just another way to spend money. Oh, whoops. Tried to put straight vitality in there. It doesn't want vitality. It wants a vitality lesson learned. And that is what it shall get. I don't know that I can heal you. That'll be interesting because you're a temporary. We are going to lose that peculiar rumor, sadly. What is the end game for this game? Julie asks. So you can eventually traverse Mansus and like learn the secrets of Mansus. And I believe there is a full end game scenario. I have obviously never been there. I don't know what it looks like. I'm sure there are much faster ways to get it than me sitting here just crudely throwing cards at the table. But there's like a legit storyline that your character goes through, plumbing the secrets of London and learning about all this occult truth hidden from the normal man. All right, I don't know that we're going to be enough fight for watchers. So what else will this take? Just funds? I mean, look, here's the deal. What if I give you 3 funds? Nope, you'll just take the 1. You know what? I appreciate that honesty. I appreciate that you guys aren't greedy about your bribes. Got another restlessness to deal with. Not going to super worry about that. We'll try and cook the restlessness off just in case. But I think the expedition is really the end goal here. A glimmering. Not really anything I need at present. We are going to immediately follow up the paint again. I mean, I got to assume that everything about what's going to happen here is going to go sideways. I can't imagine a world in which suddenly we've beaten them. Look at me. The text was like, I'm so strong. We can't read that because we don't read Latin. Ah, their present pleasures will end ill for them. Perhaps they'll think it's worth it. Meanwhile, we can pass. So we did get past. That's lovely. All right, cool. So we'll go to the end of this expedition and then call it. I would like to see what that looks like. I'd love to free up exploration too. That's kind of a bummer that while they're off on an exploration or an expedition, like this is obviously taking quite a while to work through this expedition chain. Like I can't go to the shop. I can't go to the auction house. Like it just kind of locks everything. Treasures lie before us. Their present pleasures will end ill for them. Oh, it's the same thing they said before. All right, I'll send you the bomb maker back. Here's your teammate, the dynamic duo back again. So this might yield some money because of the painting, but I doubt it, but it'll at least cook off that restlessness. Yeah, so we'll get rid of that. And then while screwing around with that, our funding has gotten a little low, so we'll immediately go back to the hospital. I mean, we can turn these glimmerings into a glimmering lesson learned, but I don't know what I'll do with it. Strathicone's treasures. Strathicone's cozy sanctum. A fire smolders in the grate. Glass cases display hard-won trinkets. We must seize what we can quickly. Strathcone may already have telephoned the police. Beautiful. All right, so then, I mean, how much money did I dump into this? 1, 2, 3, 4. It had to be more than 4. I'll be interested to see what the return on investment is here. Man, they just want to keep me restless. Look at that, 12 items. All right, so our bomb maker comes home. What all else did we get? Oh, I didn't read the text. I was so excited. Wainscot Histories, subtitled Stories from Beyond the Walls, a miscellany of non-traditional histories compiled by William Gore, including battles not generally acknowledged and countries which appear on no map, told in a playful, apparently fictional manner. A notoriety, you know, because we robbed a guy. Sure, I get that. Treaties of Underplaces. Herein, the 17th century mystic and antiquarian Claude Herschel describes the bounds or underplaces on the borders of dream. He warns that they shift over time. We've read another book from that same author, Traveling at Night, Volume 3, The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Illipe. Locksmith's Dream, Stolen Reflections, 4th volume of Teresa Gelmer's expensive work. No longer on a discussion of the dreams of artisans, but a valuable survey of their works. The tone is calmer than that of Trespasses, but occasionally fearful, even paranoid. This volume was published in 1926, but almost immediately recalled and pulped by the publisher at the request of the author or possibly the authorities, depending on which story you believe. A few copies still survive. The Journal of Alessandro Lacroche. Prince Alexandre Lacroche spent years in secret study of the tablets taken from the Fucine marches in central Italy. His work will allow you to decipher Fucine texts. Oh, cool. So this is studying this will learn a language. So like if we find a book that teaches us Latin, we can read that and then we can translate this book. So look, all in all, that haul was actually pretty crazy. I spent a lot of money. It took a lot of time for sure. But look at how much we got out of it. I mean, this is a treasure trove. And it does get rid of the card. So like those expeditions are clearly meant to be executed and then finalized and then you're done.